Live from your home of babies, you're listening to Techies Talking Tech Tonight, colloquially known as T4. I'm your host, Trey Comstock, and it was recently Tuesday.
It's still Tuesday.
2015, and I am joined as ever by Jimmy Principe.
There are no babies here.
There's at least one baby. I've got the diaper pail.
It's there. The baby is there.
Got a diaper
Not
pail.
here.
There's a diaper pail in shot. And see, this is a fancy European diaper pail. And the advantage of the fancy European diaper pail is you don't have to buy proprietary diaper pail bags. You can just use normal trash bags, and it still keeps the smell of crap out of your house. It's a little more.
That sounds like an advantage.
So it's a little more expensive than the American-made diaper pails. But the American-made diaper pails cost you a lot more in recurring costs of proprietary bags. It's like Keurigs, only for things that contain baby poop.
They're both brown.
They're both mostly brown. Yeah. Right now it's kind of orange.
Oh my God.
Mostly brown.
I just didn't need to know that. Let's put that on the list of things. Look, man, I didn't need to know that. Let's put that on the list of things I don't need to know.
So for a while, we had to keep a log. Not just, like, did he poop? But, like, what did it look like? Parenting is not a dignified venture.
Did you write, like, dinosaurs at one point? Or
no, it was like color and tech. It's not like shape. It's not anything solid. There's no shape. It's just like...
It's like, if you see the Virgin Mary in your baby's poop, do you get a prize? Like,
sure, I probably can call the Vatican and get something, right?
You're not Catholic, though. Catholics are strange people.
Yeah, but the Virgin Mary, she's not sprayed. All of So what y'all didn't see is before the show, I went cowboy spraying my, compressed air in the air, but it has embittering agent, so I don't huff it. I sprayed it all over, and now everything's bitter. That was real stupid. That was really dumb.
You made your choice.
Yeah, no, it was really bad.
This is the miracle of the internet. I don't have to suffer at the hand of your mistakes.
Yeah, just think, in 3 weeks when we relaunch the show, you will be in studio with me for both shows.
Blessing and a curse?
Yeah. So we've alluded to this before, but this show, Techies Talking Tech Tonight, in about 3 weeks, whenever we can kind of finish the new studio, is going to totally change formats. So it's still going to be a reviews-focused show. But it's no longer going to be an audio podcast. It's going to be a video-only show. And it's no longer going to be done Brady Bunch style. It's going to have, an actual set.
The Brady Bunch.
With the ability to actually play video games live and do live demos of products and all. I mean, it's all kinds of fans. We're going to sit on a couch in the same room. And, yeah, it's going to be really interesting. The theory is we're going to play a mixture of new video games and classic video games. Be able to show and demo devices live on the show. Think Giant Bombs, Unprofessional Fridays, CNET Live, back when that was a show 1,000 years ago, the Screensavers, that kind of show. We may, if we get enough audience participation, we can do live troubleshooting like Brian Cooley and Tom Merritt used to do. I mean, there's the sky's the limit, really.
Wait. Do we get to drink bourbon, too?
Only on the New Year's episode.
Okay.
And only you.
Yeah, I guess your clergy clergy position precludes you.
It just doesn't work like that.
Anyways.
So there's going to be this show and then one more show next week in this format. And then we're going to be dark for at least a week, maybe 2 for this show. Probably only a week for TLCP, because that's going to Text Less Call podcast. That's the internal designation is TLCP. So TLCP.
There's already a TLCP week. That's why we can't use it.
Not interested in that one having an acronym, but that's just what we call it internally is TLCP. TLCP will only be dark probably for a week while I physically move, but that's not changing formats except that again Jimmy and I will be live in the studio together, and both of the shows will happen on Fridays.
Correct.
So it's a change. I think this.
Okay, Microsoft.
Yeah, but this show I think is going to get a lot stronger independent identity, rather than just kind of this weird reviews show where we can't really demo much. We're really going to be able to, I think, do some fascinating things. So the idea is a change for the better. But you will, so audio subscribers, all three of you, there will no longer be an audio.
I think we have 5.
5.
I can look this up.
Please don't. It's depressing. For all 5 of you, you will no longer get an audio feed of the show. We're going to shut that down. I'm going to leave the archives posted, but you're no longer going to get audio archives. That's just, we're done with that. Yeah. So, speaking of done with that, Jimmy, tell me your latest adventure in enterprise technology.
So my latest adventure in well, there's multiple. First off, enterprise tech makes me want to shove an ice pick through my eyeball.
Yep. Okay.
On
Imagine
a good
how
day.
your sysadmin feels.
On a good day. You know, I actually have a good working relationship with my sysadmin. So I called that. Well, that's because, unlike most people, I understand that sysadmins actually rule the world when it comes to
absolutely do.
the back end. So,
Edward Snowden was a sysadmin.
Yeah, no, exactly. So
let's think about that for a second. They know everything.
So the back end of this is really that we have been trying to find solutions to
have
to
you been
address
ideating synergies in a solutions-based framework?
Yes, that's what we've been doing.
Great.
Really, it's consisted of linked conference calls where we mostly just bitch about the system that we have. Look, man, I told you I was talking to the sysadmin, not the head of IT. So what I've discovered is that we have SharePoint, which is actually the solution to all of my problems.
Yep, theoretically.
But I don't have access to it because the way that the company has set it up is that the sysadmin has to physically set up every project in SharePoint. There's no way for users, because they don't want to give users that level of access to SharePoint, because SharePoint is the back end for the whole corporate site. And they're afraid that if they give them that level of access, that we'll go in and break something.
But they can't just lock you out of individual sections?
They probably can, but it's harder. It requires work.
Yes.
I mean, so my adventures in enterprise tech are really like kind of that's one of them. The annoyances of I'm trying to find some kind of a collaborative tool. I don't. Free is nice, but I'm looking for more of something within the Office 365 framework, and I think that the combination of SharePoint and OneNote is probably the answer. But SharePoint is mainly the answer. SharePoint is the back end that makes SharePoint is. As I said on the phone yesterday, SharePoint is like looking into the face of God.
Yeah, or looking in the face of Azure.
It's the same.
Think about it. You combine tools like Delve, which is essentially Microsoft's internal, kind of on-prem version of Pinterest, and you can do a lot with tools like that.
But unfortunately,
kind of posting and tagging and connecting that way.
Implementing that kind of a system is not easy. So I'm going to leave that one alone here for the next few months and just let other problems with their IT work themselves out. And then I'm going to ping the sysadmin again and say, okay, I really want to look into this solution again and see if we can streamline it so that you don't have to do as much work and I get the solution I want.
Sure.
But the other thing I found is that, calling my industry a creative industry is really not probably the right words, but it's definitely a graphically focused industry, and it's an industry that uses and leverages significant amount of raw horsepower from computers. One of our clients, one of our architectural clients, they about 3 years ago offloaded all of the processing for the software that I use from individual machines to server-based architecture, and then they gave all of their employees a stipend to go purchase their own machines, and then the employees' machines connect to the network, and they can use those laptops or whatever they decided to use to connect through It's a Cisco. It's not Cisco. It's a Cisco type system.
Sure.
To allow the virtualized environments where it can actively, assign system resources based on the needs of the individual users that are connected to the system.
It's virtual machines.
Oh yes, lots of
scalable virtual machines. It's like we used at Rollins School of Public Health in our Citrix, our Citrix systems where we were pulling up. That's how we did our qualitative and quantitative analysis software. Was all stored. You get Max QDA through the Citrix system, and that way anywhere in the world on whatever terrible netbook we've brought with us into the field, we could tap into the real horsepower of these Blade servers.
And that's basically what this is. That's basically what they've implemented. And so we've thought about doing something like that. But so this is a very, as far as server side tech, aware company and industry. But for whatever reason, there is so much that is still done with a paper and, well, not really a pencil, and a Sharpie. And what I think that the root of it is, and you said it well in our pre-show, was that whenever you're trying to conceptualize something as far as a design or an ideation.
This show brought to you the letter I and the word ideation.
Okay, show title. This show brought to you by the letter I.
Anyways, you were saying.
Anyways, I was saying, it's amazing the amount of things that are still done with a pen and paper, and of all kinds of paper sizes, from 8.5 by 11 all the way up to 36 by 48 paper sheets. And we go through this process where you're trying to conceptualize an idea, and literally I'll be sitting in the head of the office's office as we're trying to brainstorm some kind of a solution, and he just keeps taking Sharpies and just keeps like going over the same area, trying to express a different point. And it's like, no, you walk away and the paper is just covered in Sharpie, and you don't remember what was what and what the solution is. And so you don't have a good documentation of the brainstorming session. You don't have any real good guidance from this piece of paper. And we have deliverables that are basically just Sharpied. Take out a big sheet of paper with, a printed out plan on it. You just draw what you're going to do in Sharpie. And so it's really surprising to me how slow my industry has been as far as adopting kind of touch-based solutions to this.
And those things, in some way or form, those things have been around since before we were in high school. Or certainly since before you were in high school.
Well, the Surface, the original Surface is really a perfect example of something that would solve this problem.
But even before that, the smart boards. I remember my high school got a smart board, at least my senior year. That was 2004, 2005.
Yeah. We had smart boards when I was in high school.
Right. I've a distinct memory of the first one arriving at Cooper, kind of my senior year, and this was crazy technology. And all a smart board is a touch-aware board, some connected styluses that are different colored markers, and a projector, right? It's not, Surface Hub, this is not. But even that would start to get at, because you can screen cap based on it, right? Certainly Emory has all of these smart board related things that no professor knows how to use, because, or at least the theologians I worked with are just like, what is this thing? And so many we don't want to give them PowerPoints and they won't take notes. Look, dude, they've been periscoping your entire lesson. I wouldn't even worry about it. But so, anyways, a smart
So something like a smart board is a lot.
A solution to this has been around for 10 years.
Yeah, and I can't figure out what it is. There's something special about writing and something special about using a pen and paper to communicate a point. But
so
there are definitely advantages of using a digital and analog to that.
Right. So I agree with you in terms of, I think there is the act of writing versus the act of typing and clicking is an important distinction, right? So this is why I liked my my smart pen
Yeah, your LiveScribe,
My
right?
LiveScribe Smart Pen so much, and one of the reasons why I love the Surface Pro 3, because for both of those, I got the benefits of being able to write and draw in an analog way, where I can make sweeping. Again, typing feels limiting and feels like a commitment, and I feel less creative when that's what I do. And so I get it, and I still value my analog pencils and my to a certain extent. But I use so much less paper because of how good the Surface Pro 3 is specifically. And so I think about it as, I think the value isn't the Sharpie on paper, it is stylus on implement, right? Because you can do this, you get a Surface Hub, which is this 70-inch touchscreen pen interface Microsoft Wonder machine, which everyone I explain it to goes, yeah, no, I need one of those. And as I'm thinking about designing a new office for my new job,
I need one of those.
Yeah, no, I need one of those. I want to know what my CapEx is, because that, my office may need
You may spend all of it on
I may spend all of my CapEx on getting a Surface Hub and explain it to my senior somehow. Or not. It's, look, man, this is just how it is.
You gave me money. I did this.
Trey, you're sitting on milk crates and a thrift store couch. Yep. Milk crates and a thrift store couch was all that was left in my budget after I bought the Surface Hub with your budget. But again, Surface Hub is a product that may or may not actually be out yet. It was announced.
I don't think it's out yet.
I don't think it's out yet either. Now that I say that, but it was announced.
I think it's a Windows 10 device that's going to be released with Windows 10.
So it's not exactly extant, but there have been tools like this, Perfect Pixel, its predecessor, and before that, again, smartboards. That I wonder. I'm with you. I don't know why those things have not been adopted in your industry or in the theater, where I come from, where the set designer that I worked under as a college student still hand drafted everything. And then the technical director, who was not crazy, rendered everything in AutoCAD so then we could build them. But Michael hand drafted everything and trained us in hand drafting and didn't even train us in AutoCAD.
Well, because AutoCAD, there is something to be said from when you're trying to figure out what you want to do. AutoCAD is too precise of a tool because you have to tell it what the angles are. You have to tell it everything. And so from that perspective, those products are not designed for conceptual design.
Yeah, but there are other ways. Okay, so AutoCAD's a bad example, but there are other ways, even within building a template within Paint, to do or even PowerPoint, to do what we were doing with this drafting, right? It's a matter of precisely modeling the stage once, and then you place your boxes. I mean, these drafted things are not, when you're doing at least the top-down shoot, that has a name, which is not going to come to me right now. But even when you're doing the front-on view, too, those things, there are tools that can do that. And now, with all of this digital inking stuff getting so good, you can even ink it the way we always did. Just now you can save that, you can email that out, you can erase the bits that you want to lose, draw back in additional stuff, change colors at will. I mean, there's so much you can do with it now. I think I really think all of the kind of those industries that interact with creativity and construction, engineering, the theater, whatever, needs to shift in this direction, because it really can be a transformative technology, as it has been for me with the Surface Pro 3.
Well, and the other thing I think is really interesting from a UI perspective is you look at that sort of a UI, and it makes a lot of sense for anything that involves something that required drawing or drafting or painting or whatever. Whereas if you talk to Steve Jobs didn't want styluses. Now, granted, those were completely different styluses. The new styluses are nothing. Styli? The new styli are nothing like the really crappy ones that were part of the
early 2000s.
original,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, the original
or even
PCs.
the Palm Pilots too. I mean, those things were just pieces of plastic you poked a thing with.
Yeah, no, the new ones are through Bluetooth, allow the registering, the
Palm
Bluetooth, and
rejection.
yeah, they can do all
There's
kinds
so
of
much
stuff.
to them. They're really high tech, and they feel nicer in the hand. They feel much more like pens rather than, again, a dumb piece of plastic you poke things with. If it's not your only input mechanism, they understood that, like, you don't need the stylus to tap an icon on the screen. You need a stylus to create a work of art or to write a thing down. And they're not even worried about, handwriting recognition anymore. Why do I want this thing to become its own typed document that it's just going to get wrong because it can't read my handwriting? Although,
I can't read my handwriting either.
I actually can read my handwriting. So the truth is, I don't know how to spell, but I know what the words look like. So it's close enough. I can't spell the word available, but I know what it kind of looks like. And so I just sort of draw what available kind of looks like. It works out pretty well. I can't look. Worse. I used to be able to spell the word rehearsal, which is a really bad thing when you're a stage manager and you can't spell the word rehearsal. There's just a lot of letters in the word rehearsal.
There are a lot of letters in the word rehearsal.
Schedule, also surprisingly difficult.
Yeah, this is a good analogy. So, like, the end of this was like what, early 2000 styluses were.
Yeah.
And this is what an actual stylus these days is.
Right.
Something that's ergonomic and designed to fit in your hand.
Right. And the Surface Pros even comes to a point like a pen, and it works, man. It works. And now Microsoft owns that technology, and they're integrating it into the Surface Hub. Which, if you have the CapEx, spend it, because that thing could be incredible. It really.
Your office probably only needs one.
Yeah, sure.
To start with.
In your conference room for collaboration, ideation, if you will.
Well, in an office like ours, where we're definitely working with different groups in different areas, having something with the built-in webcams is actually very valuable.
Yeah.
Because it ends up being a clean solution instead of kind of a kludgy, like, where do you put the webcam? How do you get that wire to run back over to the computer? Yeah. Like, with this, everything's in a box. Yeah. You hang it on the wall, plug it in,
and you're all working on the same thing right there. It's a heck of to me, it's better than telepresence. Although, apparently, anyone who's tried telepresence is like, oh, man. But you need, like, a T3 line, and that's just...
Telepresence is, like, the most ridiculous... Telepresence is, like, Cisco just kind of went, what's the best thing we can do?
Right.
And they say, okay, well, what are the hardware requirements? Doesn't matter.
It's like $10,000 to do it. $10,000 a room. It was.
Oh, and when you walk into a telepresence room, that oh shit, this is a telepresence room.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
They're like sound. So like telepresence rooms are like soundproofed. Mm-hmm. They usually have multiple cameras.
Right, and multiple monitors.
And like very high quality cameras.
Right.
Multiple monitors. Like they're amazing. It is like future past.
Yeah.
Future? It's like past future.
Past future. Yep.
It's like what Ray Bradbury thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
Minus the book burning.
You're right, though. I mean, it is those video walls from Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah.
Where everyone's interacting with their TV. And, I mean, in some ways, those Xbox One is also that. It's got the camera. It's, you just BYO panel. But in some ways, the tech in Fahrenheit is oddly prophetic.
Yeah, no, it's very similar to, well, also the ridiculous screens we're getting to these days. But yeah, so working within my only other story from store journeys in enterprise tech for this week that's really relevant is we finally got kind of the ball rolling again on providing tablets to to kind of like test drive kind of idea for our office. Our greater organization has tablets implemented, but trying to use them in a day-to-day job site application makes a lot of sense. And so I got asked, all right, what should we ask for? Because we're communicating with our corporate people And I said, ask him for a Surface Pro 3. And the guy that I was talking to looked it up and said, $1,000? Are you kidding me? I said, all right, fine, Surface 3. He looked it up, $500. All right, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I think that starts to fit into your broader vision. So my stuff for this week kind of shifts away from the enterprise and much more into the home. So or slightly outside my home. I finally got my sports band for the Apple Watch. I'm not wearing it. I'm wearing my normal band right now.
You're not exercising, so
I'm not exercising, and they don't actually look that bad. The green, so I got the green one, of course.
I've seen them.
Sometimes it just needs to be green, and this one needed to be green.
It's like a neon green, right?
It is it's a pretty neon green. I don't have it.
It's like this color.
Yeah, it's like that color. I really like working out with the Apple Watch. So you can set distance. So it has like outdoor run, outdoor walk, indoor walk, and a few other options.
Basically, are you going to need the GPS or not?
Right, and then that's some of it, right? So I guess I can... My Apple Watch is experiencing a slowdown. So my workout options, if it'll load, outdoor walk, outdoor run, outdoor cycle, indoor walk, indoor run, indoor cycle, elliptical, rower, stair stepper, and other, right? And so I was doing an outdoor walk because that's my main form of exercise. And so I could set distance, time, or calories. And that was great. So I said, okay, I want to burn 300 calories on this workout. And so I plug in all my age and weight data. And it has the heart rate monitor. So it's a pretty good idea of what that is. And so then it told me when I'd burned 150 calories so I could turn around. And then when I got back, it told me average mile time or average rate, distance covered, time elapsed, calories burned 300, and average heart rate. So I was like, average heart rate was like 135, blah, blah, blah. And so and all of it's just really slick. You just launch the app and set it, with the, you set it with the digital crown, and off it goes. That feature was really nice. It's a lot more effective than the Am I Standing app, which I don't think works. Because I stand a fair amount, but there's no way I stood. What is it claiming I stood? Give me back to the watch face. Nope, that's a little fiddly. This is the struggle. The Apple Watch is a terrible watch.
This is excellent. This right here is Apple Watch.
There's no way I stood close to 12 hours today. There's no way. So some of the data is bad, but some of it, the workout data, I was really impressed by. That is maybe not a killer app because I'm not a fitness nut, but were I really a fitness nut? I've used a lot of fitness band products. I've used like the heart rate step counting kind in the early 2000s. I used in about 2010. I was using a heart rate monitor and GPS monitoring one. That costs like $400. That's
the one with like the strap thing, right?
The strap. Well, both the real heart rate monitoring takes a strap. Even this is quasi. It's at least real heart rates, but it's not the constant sampling like those are. And I've used 2 different step counters. I've used the step counting on my phone. I used that Garmin thing that was or the whatever that was, Polar thing.
The Polar Loop.
That was kind of awful. So I've used a lot of different fitness band type products. I really like using this one. It's pretty good. I'm not sure it's not worth $700, but if you have an Apple Watch, I highly recommend the fitness app. I think so one of the guys in my office has the aluminum, has the entry level one, the $350 one. He has the same green band and all of that, and it's just he's so enamored with his Apple Watch because he's a true Apple fanboy. Not in the sense that you are, where you understand why you're an Apple fanboy. I'm not. Yeah, I guess I'm an Apple fanboy, but not in that. I don't vociferously defend every damn thing they do. One port, man. One port. You're out of your damn mind. Anyways, you were saying.
But anyways, so he has it, and it looks good, but it's still just like with the problem with the non upgraded bands is they just don't work in a professional environment. Like,
yeah, I mean, it looks like you're wearing your Iron Man.
It's still. It looks like he's wearing a toy. Like,
Yeah.
and that's not what you're going for. And
I
so,
don't, like, I like the way this looks. I've worn it every day since I got it, and I've been really happy. I wore it in professional settings. Whatever professional setting is a media job, right? Where I dressed like I went to work tonight, dressed like this, where I had to lunch. So like whatever that counts as my media job, all the different settings, or my more formal job as a pastor, I wear it in all of those settings, and it totally fits. I just couldn't exercise in this band because I sweat like a person,
right?
And so that just was not functional. I think Apple has created a cool thing. I think they've created a reasonably crappy watch.
Yes.
And I think that's my answer.
I think that's an important distinction, though.
It's a cool thing. It really is. And it does a fair amount of what they say it's supposed to. And with notifications, I use those notifications, and I actually kind of like them at this point. It's not as overwhelming as notifications on my Pebble. And I kind of like that I flip my wrist up and then the notification automatically opens. That's pretty slick and easier than pulling out my phone, especially because my phone's gigantic. But it's not a great watch, right? It takes a lot to get the watch screen to show up, and that has continued to get on my nerves.
Well, and that's the advantage of the Pebble, is that the watch face is always on.
Right.
So...
Yes. And you can tone down the notifications. I had my notifications on the Pebble turned up to 11.
Yeah, no, so that's the other thing. Yeah, with the Pebble, you need to turn down the notification settings. Otherwise, you're drinking from a fire hose.
And also, your iPhone and your Pebble vibrate at the same time, or almost the same time, and it's just, oh my God, the notifications, man. Oh, Brazil was rough. I was just living in a sea of notifications. Like, ah!
So my phone's continuously on silent, no vibrate. Because I have my watch on normally. Yeah. However, in situations where I'm not wearing my watch, like I'll take it off just because I'm like, oh, kind of done with. I get tired of wearing a watch throughout the day, like a normal person, and so I'll just take my watch off, and then I just miss things.
Yeah,
miss calls, miss texts, miss whatever.
Is your watch like smoky, like the Bandit's hat? You only take it off for 2 reasons.
What are those 2 reasons, Trey?
I don't know, man. I don't know. So on that quasi-terrifying note, we should probably get out of here. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's Techies Talking Tech Tonight. Next week, we will be talking about the MIMO baby monitor that actually came in. Just haven't had a chance to really test it, except its setup process is bullcrap. And also, I will be talking about the video game Splatoon, which we just didn't have time to get to this week. If you have any feedback for us, podcast at textlesscall.com, facebook.com/textlesscall, pinterest.com/textlesscall, or at textlesscall on the Twitters. Good night. Just got a notification. You have to very precisely tap this